Domain and range of functions. The domain is the set of all possible x values in the function. The range is the set of all possible y values or values of fx which result from using the function. For this given function, the domain is the set of x values 0, -2, and -7. The range is the set of y values 2, 5, and 9. Let's find the domain and range for this given function y equals 2x plus 3. Take note, if the exponent of x is 1, it is a linear function. Also notice the graph. The arrows mean they extend indefinitely. If it's a linear function, the domain will always be all real numbers, or all values from -infinity to +infinity. Same with the range, it is also all real numbers, or all values from -infinity to +infinity. How about the function f of x equals x squared plus 2? Notice that the exponent of x is 2. This means that its graph is not a line, but a curve. In fact, this is a parabola. Notice the graph. The arrows may extend to the left and right indefinitely. Thus, for all parabolic functions, the domain will always be all real numbers, or from -infinity to +infinity. How about the range? Notice that the curve starts at the vertex. This may be identified as the constant in the function. In this case, it's +2. Thus, the range starts from +2 to all numbers greater. So it's f of x is greater than or equal to 2. Or we can write it as, from +2 to +infinity. Let's consider the function f of x equals square root of x plus 3. This is an example of square root function. The graph of this functions are like half parabolas. Notice the graph. The domain begins from this starting point, then goes indefinitely. This start point of the curve can be solved by equating the value inside the square root to 0. Solving, we get -3. Now, let's substitute some values for x starting with -3. If we use x values that are higher than -3, they give defined results. But for x values lower than -3, the results are undefined. Thus, the domain starts from +3 to all numbers greater. So it's, x is greater than or equal to -3. Or we can write it as, from -3 to +infinity. And, the range starts from 0 to all numbers greater. So it's, f of x is greater than or equal to 0. Or we can write it as, from 0 to +infinity. Let's consider this rational function. If you equate the denominator to 0, then solve for x. We get the only x value not part of the domain. In this case, it's +5. Thus, the domain is x is not equal to 5. Or we can write it as all real numbers except 5. Also notice that x equals 5 is the vertical asymptote. Thus, to get the domain, simply exclude the vertical asymptote. How about the range? Remember how to get the horizontal asymptote. Compare the degree or the highest exponents of the polynomial. If highest exponent is bigger on bottom, then horizontal asymptote is y equals 0. Thus, the range is f of x is not equal to 0. Or we can write it as all real numbers except 0. Let's have some exercises. Here are the domain and range of some linear functions. Here are the domain and range of quadratic functions, or the parabolas. Here are the domain and range of the square root functions.